Hello, everybody. It is the last day to submit for the Destination Unknown Challenge. As of the time this video is going up, you have less than 24 hours to get your submission in for Destination Unknown. Now, this challenge will officially end at 11:59 a.m., as in noon, Eastern Time in the US. Don't worry, we're going to show you where you can see a countdown so you know what that time looks like where you are as of the time you're watching this video. So we're going to go very quickly through how to submit your Destination Unknown story to the challenge. And then we will stop for a brief QA and just remind everybody of the final challenge requirements. When you log into AutoCrit, which everybody who has registered for the challenge should have access to, you will head on over to the writer's desk on the left-hand toolbar. This is where you will need to either open your file if you wrote your story directly in AutoCrit, or you can upload a file in as long as it is unformatted and image-free. So no page numbers, no chapter titles formatted as headings, or anything like that. Just text only. You can drag and drop it here, or you can click on this gray window here and select it on your computer. This is the only way we will accept submissions for Destination Unknown. We are not accepting them via email or PM, so if you do not submit this way, we will not get your story. When you find your story or you have it in the challenge, you're going to go ahead and open it up. And once you are in here, let me delete the story that I had in here right now for you. You are going to put the title in the top left corner. When you double click there with your mouse, you will see a cursor start blinking. So put the title only in the top left. Please do not put your name because this is a blind judging for the winners of this challenge. We don't want to know who you are. Do not put your title inside of the file here either, though. No title here. Remember that there are no trigger warnings for this challenge because we are not accepting anything with explicit content in it for this challenge, and we are not disturbed by minor dark content in general. So no trigger warnings required, no blurbs, no images, just the story, and no author names. So your story starts here. Where I have story starts here is where you would put your first chapter if you're using chapters or scene names. Otherwise, just go ahead and dive right in to your story. Get it all written out or copied and pasted or uploaded into the system, and do one final check for typos and grammatical errors because full editing was required for this challenge. And once it's polished and looks good to go, you're ready to submit. We are going to submit using the Save button on the right-hand toolbar. So go ahead and click on Save. If you hover over it, you will see Save pop out. And then you should get this popped out menu with a submissions option. Now, sometimes if it's been a while since you cleared your browser's cache, the submissions option or offline mode or share options may be missing from this window. This is a sign that your cache is too full to load this page. And what you could do to fix that if you're on a PC is hit Control F5 on your keyboard, which will reload the page with a cleared cache. You can also do this the slower way by going into your browser settings and clearing your cache there and then refreshing your page. But when you come back after clearing your cache, you should see your full menu here. Go ahead and click on Submissions, and you will see the Destination Unknown Challenge submissions with a box. Because I showed you guys how to do this last week, and I can only submit once per challenge, I can't check this box today, but your box will not have a checkbox in it if you have not submitted yet. That is where you need to check mark. Everything that is in your file will be sent to us the moment you check that box. So do not click it until you are 100% happy with everything on your story file. Over here is the countdown timer I mentioned earlier. This shows how much time is left for this challenge. It is not time zone dependent. It is just going to count down to 0. And when it hits 0, that's it. Submissions will close. Anything that comes over after it hits 0 will not be considered for the challenge. So go ahead and give yourself extra time, as we've asked for the last couple weeks, to get this into us without stressing or rushing. Ideally today, May the 5th, instead of tomorrow, May the 6th, with seconds to go on your countdown calendar. Now, if you have any technical questions, you're having trouble getting the submission button to show because of that cache or something else, the help bubble in the bottom right corner of the AutoCrit website is 100% human manned from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Time every day. Go ahead and drop us a message and we will get back to you. We are happy to help. We ask that you please don't wait till the last minute because these chats are answered in the order they are received. So if you and a whole bunch of other people wait till the last 30 minutes, you are going to be waiting in line in the order that you chatted in. We want to help you, but go ahead and give yourself that buffer if at all possible. Now, once you've submitted, if you want to make doubly sure you're submitted, go ahead back into the save button and then go back to submissions and then check your box. And it should look like mine, grayed out with a check mark in it because it's unclickable since I have already submitted. As long as that box is grayed out with a check mark, you don't have to contact us for confirmation. Your submission has been received. If it is white and not checked, then you can click the box to resubmit and then check again. And if it's just not going through, that would be a good time to message our human support team for a little bit of help. So I'm going to pull up the challenge guidelines one more time. I am watching the chats. If you have questions, you can go ahead and ask, and I will be happy to answer them. Here we go. But just as a friendly reminder, the challenge story that you submit should be between 2 and 4,000 total words long by the AutoCrit word counter, not by Microsoft Word or Google Docs, not any word counter that estimates your words. AutoCrit counts exact words, so don't just upload your story and assume it will be 4,000. AutoCrit counts the exact number of words you have. So double check that your word count is within this range. The sweet spot for short stories is around 3,500, but that's not a requirement. This can be any genre. Remember, no extreme content, please. Your opening and closing lines, which we have now given you, can be in dialogue, but they cannot be altered. And the formatting, we are very flexible on. Just a standard 12-point font in a readable plain font, which you will have access to in AutoCrit, is fine. We don't care if it's Times New Roman or Arial. It does not have to be double or 1.5 spaced. It can just be a standard story in 12-point font of a font of your choice. The opening line should read as follows. Nobody told me the rain would be purple. If you open with any sentence other than this sentence, your story will be cut. You have to use this sentence as is. Twist number 1 was that no character can be called something. You cannot use them, use their name. You can't use titles. You can't use pet names, and you can't use nicknames. You also cannot use the exact same noun over and over to the point where it becomes a noun, like Foxface in The Hunger Games. Clarity on this title twist that we provided last week is an example. R2D2 could not be called R2D2, even though it's technically his model number, because it's used as a proper noun / nickname along with R2 in general. Challenge alternatives for this could be the little roller robot, the sassy droid, and things along those lines. If you have questions about this, the first thing that I would ask you is what you're trying to label them as a label. Are you trying to call them something? If so, you need to pivot out of that and into describing. We want to see characters described, not labeled. The second twist was to avoid any form of to be beyond the first line. We've included those words for you down here and any version of these contractions. And these contractions are not an exhaustive list, but Things like tis or its would also be on here because they are contractions that include the word is. The very first line can remain as is, as Gareth has shared the last 2 weeks. It is the exception. So everything beyond that first line that needs to be word for word should follow this rule. So instead of I am leaning against the banister, I lean against the banister. Instead of the tall blonde soldier is dripping purple puddles on my otherwise spotless white floor, you would say the tall blonde soldier stands still, purple puddles pooling at his feet. We're very much leaning into dramatizing instead of summarizing here and being active with our voice. This blonde soldier stand still is active, purple puddles pooling at his feet, active instead of passive, is dripping, and I am leaning instead of the more active I lean. Final line. This is the line your story needs to end with. Nothing else can follow this up, not even a dialogue tag. Next time, I'll read the instructions word for word. So if you are going to use this as a quote, it should be implied who is speaking so that you don't need a tag to follow this. This has to be the complete final sentence. Submissions, once again, are closing at 12 p.m. noon tomorrow on Wednesday, May 26th. So if you have questions that we have not answered during the chat today, feel free to hit that help bubble in the bottom right corner of AutoCrit. If this is the first video you've watched and you missed the expanded videos where we talked about alternatives for the twists, go watch those on the YouTube channel. We're very excited to get into this with you. Tomorrow, we will be having a live to kick off the brand new 7th annual short story challenge for May. So tomorrow's live will not be Destination Unknown related. We'll wrap up this challenge and roll straight into that one, and winners will be announced sometime in the next couple weeks for Destination Unknown. Good luck, everyone. Take care. We believe in you. Bye.